Hi everyone and welcome to my place. Now I've shown you how to make beads out of rose petals. Let me now show you how to make beads out of paper. Now I have been making these since I was a child, and it was a skill or a gift that my mother gave me. Actually it was a task my mother gave me to make me sit down and be still and be quiet for more than 20 minutes so that she could have a bit of peace. Now these are the beads that we're going to be making, and can you believe this? They're made out of paper. I just love making things like this, and I just love that you can turn a bit of paper into something that looks really delicious. And once you know how to make these, look, the world's just going to be just a marvelous place for you. Well, it might not be a marvelous place, but sitting quietly doing something like this could just be the thing that your little soul and heart desires. Right. It's a three-parter. I'm sorry, it's going to take a wee bit of time, but unfortunately it has to take a bit of time because there's three parts to this. Right, let me just start with the first lot of materials that you need. You need to get some stock card, some stock paper actually, and I really love this with the beautiful vintage colours, and I love that it's all being colour coordinated and all put together for us. You know, it takes half of the thought process out of it. Right, let's get a piece of paper. And I'll get rid of that bit there. Now you also need a cutting board, and you also need a ruler, and this was my son's ruler, and goodness only knows what this is. I think he might have been a tagger, and if I catch him or find out that he was tagging, he's in big trouble. Right, to begin. Putting your ruler here on the corner like this, what you need to do is to cut across there. I'm using a Stanley knife or a craft knife. Get rid of that bit. Now see where that bit there's done that? We don't want bits like that. So taking that on an angle again and cut that across there, because your cut needs to be really neat and clean. So that edge bit there, you need to get rid of that, because when you roll these you need to have a nice sort of long elongated triangular shape. Right, from there take that up to there and then bring that across to, see how it's done that again? I don't want it, oh no, that's all right, it's okay, but I'll cut another. So do all your cutting before you start. So going from that point there, right down to there, and cut everything before you start. Now the length of the bead will be determined by how wide you cut them. So if you want little beads, you're going to have to cut them much finer. If you want a bigger bead like this size here, that is the size that I used about there. So they've all got to be these really lovely sort of long stretched out triangular shapes. Right, from there, let me get rid of this. The next thing to do is you need a knitting needle. Now the width of, or the diameter or the thickness of your knitting needle is going to determine how big the threading hole is going to be. Now by that I mean this little hole here. So if you want that to be quite big, you need to make sure that your knitting needle is a decent size before you start. Right, from there the next thing to do is to get some Yoo-hoo glue or some contact glue, and I really like this. Now a little tip I want to share with you. One moment please. I'm using baking paper. Now for those of you in America and in the UK that have been asking me, what is baking paper? It's actually parchment paper. So put that down onto there like that. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I don't want it to get stuck. I don't want this all over the place. That can just go down to there. Right, from there the next thing to do is to just run that along there like that and give that a couple of good run throughs. Then getting your knitting needle, and now make sure that the glue starts from about there. You don't want the glue starting right up here, because when you roll this you want to be able to get this off the knitting needle easily. So that just goes onto there like that, and then where the glue starts, then start to just run that through. Now you'll understand why I was cutting that on the diagonal into that triangular shape, so that when you roll it around like so, it all just rolls back onto itself. Now make sure that that little bit there that little bit of paper there, that little endy bit there, make sure that that's got a good wad of glue onto that, and then just give that a roll around like that, and then you'll see why I didn't want to put the glue right at that end there, because it would be really difficult to take that off. Right, you just need to make all your beads, and these are a whole, oh, let me show you these beads here. These are a whole heap that I made last night. Look at those, aren't they just gorgeous? Bit flat, but we're about to sort that one out in a moment. Right, leave those to dry overnight. Always like to leave everything overnight to dry, and then we'll be back to stage 2 in just a moment. Give me time to get rid of all of this, and I'll show you how to do the next stage, and that's putting the coating on to make them almost like porcelain. We'll be back in a minute. Right, beads are made. We're on to step 2. Here we have the beads that are all very tonal and flat. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use the embossing powder, and we're going to turn them into nice glossy beads that almost look like enamel. Right, Zinger is the product that I'm going to use, and you can get that from most good craft shops. You can probably get it from Amazon, but remember the word is Zinger. And there's 2 types. There's opaque, and there is just a plain gloss. That I'm just going to put into there like that, and I like to use these trays so that I can recycle it, and a little bit goes a long way. You also need a glue pad, and this is the glue pad that I'm going to use, and they also come with refills, and they last for ages and ages. So we'll just put a little bit of glue onto there just to make sure that we're well coated, and just take the knife. In fact, I'm going to use a wee bit more than that, because this hasn't been used for quite a number of it hasn't been used for a couple of days, so it will probably be just a little bit dried out. So to make sure that it isn't dried out, just get a back of a knife or a spoon and just push that into there to make sure that it's actually coating this little bit of rubber here. Right, from there, the next thing to do is to get your bead, and I like to use either a satay stick like this, and what you do now is you roll that, push that quite firmly into the glue pad like so, and it needs to have quite a bit of glue onto it like this, because we need it to be well glued, well coated in the glue. And then the next thing to do is, we'll use this, well, that'll do, to use this little knife here and just go around and just sprinkle as if you were putting salt onto whatever you wanted, like tomatoes or whatever you wanted to put salt on, and make sure it's well coated. So you can see now that is well coated. There's a little bit there that's not, needs a weeny bit more. Right, from there, the next thing to do is to get your heat gun, and now this is, be very, very careful that you don't have this too close, but what will happen is the glue and the Zinger powder that's gone onto there will slowly, see how that's starting to just slowly, can you see that there? It's just slowly starting to melt and to fizz up. Perfect, that's exactly what we wanted it to do. So just keep going around there until it goes from that opaque colour back to that shiny colour. Leave that to sort of like cool down for just a few moments, and there you go. It needs 2 or 3 coats. So once you've done that, just do it again like this while it's still hot, like so. This is great stuff. I've got lots of ideas that I want to use for this. Okay, let's just get this again. Whoa. And just keep heating that, and then it just almost like it bakes onto itself. Aha, perfect. So going from that dull opaque colour to that lovely shiny colour. Right, let that cool for a few minutes, and then the next time you do it, you actually need to roll it. And as I said, I like to do it about 3 times roll that into there again. I know this feels like it might be just like a little bit so like boring to be watching, but it is quite a good thing to do. I love this. And imagine making beads, like ceramic beads out of paper, because they are like ceramic when they're finished, and giving these as gifts. I love it. Righto, and then I'll just do the next one again. And you'll see it, I hope you can see it. See how it just goes from that opaque colour and it starts to see what it's doing to that really lovely shiny enamel colour. And the more times you do this, the better it is, because it takes it from looking like rolled paper to looking like something that's actually a completed whole round bead. Right, so let that dry and make sure that when you're using the glue pad that you do put that little bit of that little seal onto that so that it doesn't dry out. Right, so from there, once that's all been done, the next thing to do is, so there's some that I've done there. I've got these little, they're called spacer beads, and the perfect thing about these is, now hopefully, we've got to get the right size here. And of course I haven't got my eyes on, so I can't see properly. But, hold on, where is one of those? There it is, those wee ones there, they're the best ones. So that, making sure that that hole is big enough, and it's just a matter of pushing that onto there like that. Oops. Not everything I do is perfect, all right? It's not always perfect, but let's just try this one here. But that does work. There, oh, look at that. That goes onto there. So you have to make sure that the hole, see that we hole there, is big enough so that you can put your spacer bead into it. I did that on purpose, you know. You might be thinking, oh, she's useless, but I'm not really. Look at that. So that just gets pushed onto there like that, and then that gives you, so you've got your lovely enamel finish there, and then you've got your wee bead on the end, and then from there, it's just a matter of threading them up. I am going to try and be so much more professional after today. I am, hold on, oh! So there we have it, and then you can just finish those off with the hooks and eyes, and you can buy the chain and wire and the hooks and eyes from a good craft shop, even Amazon I think have them. So there you have it, personalised beads. How perfect is that? You can make the beads for whatever outfit that you want to match them with, and they are so easy to make. Hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed showing you how to do this, and it's a great job to get on and make beads for your friends. See you another day.